Members, it's now 5:30. I call to order the first meeting of the panel on commerce and industry, and we will elect the chairman. Members are invited to note that according to Rule 77(6) of the Rules of Procedure, a member who is now the chairman or deputy chairman of the government advisory body relevant to the panel shall not be the chairman or deputy chairman of this panel. Rule 77(7) also provides that a member shall not be the chairman or deputy chairman of more than one panel at the same time. Earlier on, many panels have already elected their chairman and vice chairman. When members make nominations in a moment, should you duplicate the names of chairman and vice chairman already elected, the clerk will let me know that that nomination will not be valid. Also, 10 odd members have become candidates at other panels, but then this procedure has not been completed and they have not been elected as chairman or vice chairman yet. Such members can still be nominated and be elected as chairman or vice chairman of this panel. Whether he or she wishes to be nominated at this panel, members making nominations, please ascertain the wishes of those members first. That is by way of a reminder, please. Now I would invite nominations. A valid nomination shall be made orally by a member, seconded by at least one other member, and accepted by the member being nominated. Can I now invite nominations? Mr. Alvin Young, I nominate Mr. Wu Chi-wai. Any seconder? Mr. Andrew Wan seconds. Mr. Wu Chi-wai, do you accept nomination? I do. Good. Does any other member wish to make a nomination? I'll count 1 to 3. 1, 2, 3. There is only one valid nomination. Mr. Wu Chi-wai. I announce that Mr. Wu Chi-wai has been elected chairman. Please take the chair. Members, thank you very much for your support. Now we'll conduct the election of the deputy chairman. A valid nomination should be made orally by a member, seconded by at least one other member, and accepted by the member being nominated. Nominations, please. Dr. Low Wai Kwok, I nominate Mr. Shou Ka-fai. Mr. Stephen Ho seconds. Mr. Shou Ka-fai, do you accept nomination? Chairman, I accept, but I'd like to mention that I'm a member of the Business Facilitation Committee. I'd like to make that declaration first. Are you just a member? Then it's all right. Thank you. Any other nominations? I'll count 1 to 3. 1, 2, 3. No other nominations. Mr. Shou Ka-fai, elected deputy chairman of the Commerce and Industry panel for this year, ipso facto. Members, please look at the proposed agenda tabled at the meeting. First of all, the date of the next meeting. Please take a look. It is already on this sheet of paper. According to previous arrangements, the panel will always take place on the third Wednesday of the month at 2:30. Third Tuesday of the month, sorry. If members have no questions, I wish to adopt the schedule of meetings. Any views? If not, we will confirm that we will hold our meetings on the third Tuesday of each month from 2:30 to 4:30. It is our regular meeting. The detailed schedule of meetings is in the proposed schedule. Please take note that the Chief Executive will deliver his policy address on the 18th of January 2017. It is proposed to reschedule the regular panel meeting come policy briefing in January 2017 from the 17th of January to Wednesday 25th of January 2017 at 2:30 p.m. Please take note of that. If you do not object, we will arrange the January meeting as proposed. Dr. Elena Wong? Okay, you don't have a question with the schedule. All right. Let's now go to the items for discussion at the next meeting. Just a minute.
好，咁就請大家
Members, please refer to the list of issues suggested to be considered.
咁我哋大家可以再傾嘅。
Please take a look. But first of all, we'll deal with the arrangement for the regular meeting next month. It is proposed that 2 items will be taken up at the November meeting. One legislative proposal to expand the scope of tax deduction for capital expenditure incurred for the purchase of intellectual property rights. That's the first item in the list. It is a proposal for making legislation. Please do read the papers on this item before you come to the meeting. Second, proposal for creating a permanent Assistant Director of Intellectual Property Patents DL2 post to follow through patent reform in Hong Kong. These 2 items will be taken up at the panel meeting in November. As for agenda items for the other months, according to a previous arrangement, together with the Deputy Chairman, we'll have a meeting with the Bureau and also the Bureau on INT, and we will discuss items for discussion at all regular meetings until July. If you have any proposals, please write in to the clerk before next Wednesday so we can avail ourselves to your thoughts, right? And there are 2 points here. One, whether you like to propose any particular items for discussion, so we can take them up when we meet officials. Dr. Elena Wong. Chairman, at the Economic Services Panel, I like to follow up on policies on industries. I hope you will take this up with the ES panel. Secondly, we have 6 industries with a marked advantage, and I'd like to be updated about the testing and accreditation industry. Our panel can invite the Hong Kong Testing and Certification Council to come and talk about its work. It is one of the 6 industries with a marked advantage, but we cannot see any policy directions. I think that is very important. Whether you talk about lead-contaminated water or food safety or water supply components, they all have to do with testing and accreditation. At number 10, we have the latest development of the testing and certification industry. We'll just have to decide on a time for discussing it. And another one, regulation and development of the beauty industry. Again, this is also in the list of issues. But the actual discussion time will have to be taken up with the officials. Mr. Charles Mok. Thank you, Chair. You said that this is an exhaustive list of issues, but I think many of the items are not there. Last term, we talked a lot about copyright, and of course the bill was not passed. It is not in the list here. The civic society and the industries, and also people who have dyslexia or who are blind, they have asked for exemptions under the copyright ordinance. I don't think we need to wait all sensitive issues to be resolved before we look at the bigger issue. I hope the chairman will remind the administration about this and should update us on progress on copyright bill. And secondly, the use of land in industrial estates, whether we are talking about new planning or existing land use policies in the industrial estates, including digital centers, and also the science park. It is absent from the list. This is so strange. Why is it that the cyberport reported to the ITBP but not for it to report to this panel? I hope to be updated about that as well. And also, the industry is very concerned about the fund to help the startup companies. Now, the funding has been approved. When will it be up and running? And also the criteria for approving applications. Dr. Fernando Zhang. Thank you, Chair. I support what Mr. Charles Mok said about copyright. I'm not talking about the law per se, but will there be guidelines to help those who have dyslexia and who have physical handicaps? So under the copyright, they can be given an electronic copy because now they cannot read many of the physical books. And the physically disadvantaged, some of them cannot turn the pages of a book and they need an electronic copy. Mrs. Regina Ip. There is a 2 billion fund at the Bureau to support startups. The administration has also announced another fund with $500 million injection. But then there is no announcement about application. I hope the INT Bureau will come and report on it. Okay, thank you. Members, we'll take all those up. Sorry, Mr. Ronick Chan. At the FA panel, I mentioned the enhancement to the SME financing scheme. Part of it is steered by the Department of Industry and Trade and also partly by the ECIC. I'd like to see where this item should be taken up. Thank you. Any other questions? Would you like to draw my attention to other items? Okay, I have heard you. We will take up all these items with the administration to see when they can be included in our meeting agendas. I hope items of concern to you can be listed in our agenda as soon as possible. If there is nothing under AOB, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming. The next meeting is the 15th of November, 2:30 to 4:30. Thank you very much.
Okay.